Hello and welcome to PCR TV. My name is Darren Mylotte. I'm an interventional cardiologist from Galway in Ireland, and I'm delighted to be joined here during 2007 EuroPCR by my dear friend Helge Moellmann. Helge, welcome.
Darren, hello.
We're here to discuss interventions for valvular heart disease, and most importantly an important session about multimodality imaging that took place here during PCR. Helge, it seems that as we move into the realm of structural heart disease, that multimodality imaging is becoming more and more important, particularly in TAVI. What's new in imaging for TAVI?
Perhaps I go back one step before I'm talking about what's new. We started a couple of years ago with only the echo, more or less, and we had the impression that we see everything and started implanting TAVI devices with intermediate good success. And then rather early, the next modality, namely the CT, came into the play. And this was the first step when we could talk about multimodality imaging. And everybody knows the combination of both CT, echo, and of course angiography yielded really good results. Now we are a little bit further. We try to combine everything and predict even more the outcome of the procedure.
So TAVI or multimodality imaging has helped us simplify the results, the TAVI procedure, and get great results. A lot of talk during the conference about mitral intervention. What imaging modalities are best placed to give us good results for mitral intervention?
When we are talking about mitral, everybody of course relies at the moment on TOE, which is definitely probably the best image modality. Here it's important to continue with the three-dimensional TOE in order to get the best impression of the valve. The mitral structure is much more complicated, of course, than the aortic, which is more or less a ring. And therefore we need this three-dimensional view, this three-dimensional aspect in order to understand where to place our Clips valve or whatsoever in the mitral space in order to get the best result.
Okay. And in the realm of transcatheter mitral valve replacement, does CT still have a role in the same way as it does in the aortic space?
Absolutely. Here, of course, we have to know whether there's calcification, for instance. We don't see the calcification very well in the TOE. And here comes, again, the CT. What we need is a full cycle CT in order to understand how the mitral valve and the mitral ring behaves, how it is during systole, during diastole, in order to have the perfect measurement before we start implanting a valve.
Okay. During Innovators Day today, there was a great session on tricuspid valve intervention. Any early clues about what would be the best imaging modality for tricuspid intervention?
Yes, of course. We tried again with the TOE. Everybody was seeking for the best imaging quality, and it's a little bit more complicated in the tricuspid space. So you have to take the transgastric view, which not always gives the best imaging quality, and therefore the eyes is perhaps the imaging of the future for the tricuspid valve. Due to its very close proximity of the interventional side and the probe, and eyes may be the imaging for tricuspid, yes.
Okay, so we have CT, two-dimensional and three-dimensional transesophageal echocardiography, ICE or intracardiac echocardiography. Is there any way that we can fuse these images and put them together to help the interventional cardiologist?
I think that's the biggest problem, the biggest challenge. It's not really a problem, it's more a challenge. So we have those a couple of images and we have to bring them together. There are two possibilities. First, fusion on the screen for the interventional cardiologist, which makes it, of course, easy to understand, to interpret the images. But there's a little bit more than that. We have to fuse it in mind, so in order to understand what we are seeing, not just seeing it, but to understand what we are seeing it. Okay. And for that purpose, I think it's of utmost importance to really work closely together with the imaging physician who can help to explain what he's doing in imaging, and the interventional cardiologist can ask for specific images. So we have to merge those two physicians more or less in order to get the best out of the imaging.
Fantastic. So we've heard about CT imaging for the aortic, transesophageal imaging for the mitral, intracardiac echo imaging for the tricuspid valve, fusing them together both on the screen, but more importantly perhaps fusing the imaging and the interventional specialists in the context of a heart team. I think this is a great place to take imaging forward for the future. I think it's a really important message that we need to remain closely aligned with our imaging specialists to get the best results from our patients. Thanks for joining me today.
Thank you, Derek.